Part 8, The Ultimate Goal, Awakening to Our True Nature. Ultimately, the pinnacle purpose of human existence, according to the core teachings of just about every genuine spiritual tradition and master throughout history, is to awaken to what we truly are beneath the layers of conditioning, identity, and mental activity. This fundamental essence has been given countless names across cultures and centuries. The Hindus called it atman or Brahman. Christ referred to it as the kingdom of heaven within. Buddhists speak of Buddha nature or the unborn. Sufis describe it as the beloved, and Taoists point to the ineffable Tao. Ramana Maharshi called it the I am. Nisargadatta Maharaj referred to pure isness, while contemporaries like Tolle speak of beingness. What all these traditions and teachers recognize is that our deepest identity isn't the story we tell ourselves about who we are, not our name, profession, relationships, or personal history, but rather the unchanging consciousness that witnesses all experience. This true nature is what remains when everything changeable falls away. The pure awareness that was present when you were 5 years old and will be present on your deathbed, untouched by the drama of life's ups and downs. It's the screen upon which all experiences play, never affected by what appears on it, like space that contains all objects but is never damaged by them. The reason this recognition represents life's ultimate goal is that it ends the fundamental suffering that comes from identifying with what we're not. In other words, the game of God, not knowing God as God, human life, is complete when we, as fractals of God, realize our God nature again, while we are still human and on this side of the veil of ignorance. When we have merged with the absolute. Game over. Mario saved the princess and likely took some mushrooms to do it. But even then, the journey doesn't necessarily end there. Even after quote unquote beating the game, we can choose to return and serve humanity's ascension, like being born at 1,000 on Hawkins scale and reaching super high states again. Though we won't know if we'll make that choice until after death. But why is this recognition of true nature so transformative? When we mistake ourselves for the temporary waves of thought, emotion, and circumstance, we live in constant fear of loss, death, and inadequacy. But when we recognize ourselves as the ocean itself, the boundless awareness in which all waves arise and subside, we discover the peace, love, and completeness that was never actually missing. This explains why Bronnie Ware's famous book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, based on her palliative care work with people in their final weeks, it missed the point, it missed the deepest possible regret, as none of her patients had likely been exposed to the possibility of awakening to their true nature. The dying patients interviewed expressed regret for not living true to themselves, for not expressing their feelings, for losing touch with friends, for working too hard, for not allowing themselves happiness. All valid concerns about how they lived their human story in the great Maya. But none mentioned the regret of never discovering their true nature, likely because they'd never been exposed to this possibility, as very few are today. In our materialistic culture, most people live entire lifetimes without ever hearing that awakening to their fundamental identity is even an option, much less life's highest purpose. Had those dying individuals truly had a glimpse of it or an authentic spiritual teaching about it, whether through Ramana's inquiry, "Who am I?" Jesus' invitation to be still and know that I am God, or Buddha's pointing to the deathless awareness that observes all arising and passing, their final regrets might have been profoundly different. Instead of lamenting how they played their role in the dream, they might have grieved never awakening from the dream of separation itself. This is why the great masters throughout history have insisted that all other pursuits, however worthy, pale in comparison to the recognition of what we truly are, because the only quote unquote achievement that can never be lost, and the only discovery that finally satisfies the heart's deepest longing. And it's the only way to end the game. It's time, dear reader, to wake up from the dream and live out your true purpose.